February 1st, 2023. It's the MetaMentors back with this week's hype, this week's news, with none other than your deep voiced my deep voice co-host in his new microphone. Hit it. Give it to me.
All right.
Let me hear it.
We're back. And if you remember correctly, last week, we were talking about certain states that were basically imposing new rules and fees and laws on Web3 projects. New Jersey wanted to have an NFT ownership license where you had to actually be licensed to own any digital asset, which is stupid. But I did find some states this week that are going the opposite direction and starting to get more involved in Web3 and crypto. California taps Tezos blockchain for digital car title transfers. Now that's just the headline. The good news is the entire DMV is going to start putting all of their information onto the Tezos blockchain. They've got a test net going right now. They're trying it out. If you've ever been to a DMV in any state, you know why this is so important. This is stuff that you will be able to do now digitally, instantly, because it's so hard to get stuff done efficiently there. You walk in, you hand them a pile of papers, and they go, oh, you forgot this one type of identification, or we need a piece of mail from here and here and here. And one of the things that an NFT, that a true ownership NFT will give the ability to, is to prove instantly who you are or who's buying or paying for these certain car title transfers, for property taxes, for vehicle road taxes, whatever you're paying. This will all be on the Tezos blockchain.
That's legit. That's real practicality.
It is, and it's even cooler because it's not just buying and selling on the blockchain. It's not just commerce on the blockchain, but they're actually going to be storing all of their information on the blockchain. So they will have proof of ownership that dates back to the beginning of the vehicle. They'll store all that stuff on there, like the Carfax and the stuff like that, where you're supposed to be able to look back and see what your car's been through. They're going to be able to NFT eyes. What would you call that? Digitize NFT eyes each vehicle as it comes out, and each vehicle will come with its own NFT that will tell the story of what that car's been through from this point to this point. So for criminal reasons, if somebody steals your car, you'll be able to go back and say, this is clearly my car. When you're buying a new car, you'll be able to look it up instantly on this blockchain and know that there's no liens against it, or that it's free and clear to be sold. There's just a lot of positives that come out of going into Web3, especially for an organization like the DMV, because everybody knows how inefficient they are, how there's just stacks and stacks of file cabinets in the back.
I find it highly interested. Did they see the technology and just jumped all over it because what they're already doing completely sucks? Or are we this far into this deal that even the DMV is like, let's do this, right?
Now, that's interesting because I thought the same thing. I thought, one, it's California, and two, it's the DMV, which, doesn't seem like the forefront of anything, but maybe they're so far behind that they know they need to catch up. So when they see something new like this, they just recognize how helpful it will be. Either that or maybe it's because blockchain's been around for 10 years now, and all of the companies that are getting onto it are having great success. And I'm telling you, something like just a complete file share, just data-driven industry like the DMV, the blockchain is the only way to go. I mean, it just...
Yeah, when is I've never worked at a DMV, but when is the last time that the DMV updated their protocol, their system? Like, they're probably using the same system from 1938. But blockchain is like, you know what? Let's do this. Just how painful it is.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. And so I think that there's a lot of places where blockchain will eventually get to and can improve. but one of the easiest is data storage and verifying identity. Those are two of the things that it's the best at. And that's what the DMV does. So it's a perfect fit, whether we're so far along that they had no choice but to get in, or whether California DMV is just leading the charge into the next century. It's happening. And unlike New Jersey, well, like New Jersey, if New Jersey starts imposing fees and licenses, that could encourage other states to do the same. But like California, if this goes well there, that could encourage other states to do the same there, and more states start putting their DMV on the blockchain.
Yeah, because there's probably no bigger DMV than the state of California. So it's not like the state of Kansas is like, let's give this a whirl. It's the state of California with who knows how many hundreds of millions of cars.
That's
probably.
Interesting. That's another good point, because I just saw the other day during trivia that the state of California has more people than the country of Canada. So yeah, what a good, if it works for California, there's no state in our country that it can't work for. Because I bet you're right. I bet there's more cars in California than there are anywhere else in America.
Very interesting.
It's gonna be very interesting. And we always like to look for the investable criteria, some way to get involved. If you think that's a good idea, they're using Tezos. Tezos is not only available on all major exchanges, but on Coinbase. Tezos, I know for a fact, Tezos is a interest-bearing coin. So you can, even if you just buy it, it automatically starts staking and you automatically start earning more. So there's not a complicated process to go through. So if you think the California DMV getting onto the blockchain is big news, Tezos might be the coin you're looking forward to invest in.
Good point.
Yeah, it's a great point.
Yeah, it is. They always are. Killing it, Ben. Killing it.
All right, and moving on. This is another state that look at them go. New York introduces bill to legalize crypto payments for state purposes. So this would be, rather than storing their DMV information on the blockchain, this is actually opening up the payment rails from several different crypto coins to be able to pay for stuff like water, anything you would pay for from the government, trash. I don't know if they do trash up there, but fees, parking tickets, property taxes, stuff like that. They've introduced a bill to legalize. I don't remember how many different coins it was, but
did they list the coin? Oh, there.
Yeah, the bill specifically names Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash as acceptable currencies.
Wow. How many more of these news articles are we going to have to see before it becomes so obvious that this is where everything's headed? Like, before people stop making fun of it, at what point does it? Don't answer that. That the news will go on forever, but it's crazy.
Well, there are still people that think that work. So,
amen. True.
So probably a while,
all
which
in
is
the state
good.
of New York.
Right. Yeah, especially up there. So the good news is, if you know it and you see it right now, who cares if no one else sees it? All of this stuff is coming, whether people want to admit it or not. Everybody behind the scenes recognizes the technology is changing and that we are entering a new era, and it's going to happen. So if you know that now, if you're watching shows like this right now, then you have the ability to get the jump, especially on something like the last article. By buying Tezos right now, not only is it crypto, so it's not losing value every year. Like if you buy $100 right now, not only, let's say it's $1 a Tezos, you buy 100 Tezos right now, not only is that going to be worth probably more in the future, but you'll also have more because it's instantly staking on Coinbase. So now's the time. If you read this article and you go, actually, that does sound like it's going to work. It sounds like that's the way everything's going. You buy something right now, in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and you remember, oh yeah, Kansas is now doing that, or Ohio's now doing that. And you're like, wait a minute, I remember buying into that. You go back, check your Coinbase, and it's been earning for 4 years, plus growing for 4 years, and you're in a much better position than you are right now. And if you're interested in big companies that may be exploring blockchain and crypto developments, there's a small growing company. It's got potential. Amazon.com is getting more into it. We've talked about them doing a lot of stuff like maybe accepting crypto payments and stuff like that, but they're actually working on a crypto project that's coming out in spring of 2023. That's just in a few months, where they will be selling digital assets. They will be a digital asset marketplace, like an NFT marketplace. They will be connecting a lot of their games and a lot of their reward systems to a crypto, infrastructure. So they will be directly competing with places like OpenSea. And it says in here somewhere 240 million users on Amazon. Maybe it was a different article I was reading about it. But there's, let's just say, roughly 250 million people use Amazon fairly regularly, and 2.3 million people used OpenSea last year.
Oh, wow.
So that's 100 times bigger when we're talking about onboarding and bringing in new customers, new people into Web3. This could be a huge, huge jump.
Yeah.
I just like that I laid out this whole article, and then your ingenious and well thought out reply was, yeah.
It's almost becoming old news, right? It's like, oh, Amazon's on board. Well, of course they're on board. Yeah,
Right.
No shit.
Right.
Not, and I say that sarcastically. Like, everybody's on board. Everybody's seeing it, whether they've said it or not. They're doing it. Like,
Right.
How long had the DMV been researching before they decided to announce this? Right.
And that's how this came to light, was Amazon's actively looking for new engineers and stuff to help start putting it together. So they've been out advertising for some new blood to come in, and people started asking around. And so, yeah, they're basically going to be competing with OpenSea starting in April, I believe. Spring of 2023 was when they were hoping for.
Yeah, I mean, and that's like we've talked about, how much will that do for onboarding, right? People that are not doing anything with crypto whatsoever, and then Amazon rolls this out. That's, like you said, 200 and some million people that are exposed to crypto, Web3, that were not before, in a practical way.
And it's very practical, because they're going to have games on the site, and they're going to have stuff hooked up with Prime, to where if you order, 15 things this month, or one every other day, like certain badges where you'll just get awarded an NFT, and it will go into your Amazon wallet, and you'll have a badge that says I did that, and you're like, well, what's an NFT? And then that gets you start going a little bit more. Then it turns out, oh, if you collect 10 of those, you can trade it in for one of these NFTs, which will get you a new avatar in a game hosted by Amazon. Like, they're going to be bundling it all up into one big customer experience. And even if you're not an NFT Web3 crypto person right now, you will be if you're an Amazon customer.
Did you mention what blockchain they're looking at? Or are they developing their own?
It says they've partnered with over 10 crypto projects to support this NFT initiative. So it doesn't in this article say, but 10 of them. So if you think even 10 out of the top 30, we could probably guess what 5 or 6 of them are. So
yeah, and I bet there's probably some previous information of Amazon collaborating or connecting with whatever blockchain or entity or company there is too, that might be some hints out there.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I saw some names on a different article, because once I started looking it up, I looked up a couple articles. This one just kind of hit the nail on the head the most, but I think I did see a couple of specific names. But that's part of the fun of it, is finding these projects, finding out who they're signing up with, and then going, ooh, Amazon, it's several $100s for an Amazon share. But if they go with Tezos or Avalanche, I can get one of those for around $1 each. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And people can't really invest in those yet in the major financial accounts. So it's like
Right.
anybody with a retirement account can invest in Amazon, but it's still pretty limited on who knows about and who can get to cryptocurrencies. So it's always great to be early in the game.
Yeah. Yes, sir. And we still are very early by all
Speaking,
signs.
yes, speaking of games, Drake, Drake the singer
Oh,
or
yeah.
R&B
Drake.
artist, whatever he does
Oh.
if he raps.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, he's made a
He lays
series of
down
terrible
tracks.
bets. What?
He likes to lay down tracks.
Oh,
Tracks are songs, Ben.
gotcha.
And
Well, he also likes to make terrible bets, and he's lost a
I
lot of
know another
money.
guy that likes to make terrible bets.
I don't make terrible bets.
Who said I was talking about you?
He's lost a lot of money in a couple of big games over the last few months, like
Uh-oh.
the World Cup. I feel like a couple of college games, the college playoffs. He lost some money there, but he did bet over $1 million in Bitcoin on the Chiefs beating Cincinnati Bengals, which means he won that one because Ryan's team, the Chiefs,
Oh, yeah.
kicked
Without a
that
doubt.
butt. Well, won by 3 points barely in the last second, but they
Yeah.
did win.
True.
And he just shared his bet slip right here. And you
Doubled
can see
his
right
money.
here.
Wow.
Yep. So he bet 1.1 million to win over 2 million. And you could see right next to it, it was bet with Bitcoin. So I don't know what site that was. And I looked for it.
Yeah,
And
that's what I was going to ask you.
several people have posted like this bet slip, but I can't find what app or what website or where he's making these bets. Because if you're making those kind of bets and posting them on social media, you probably still have to report it. So I'm just curious where that's being bet at,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That was what came to mind also is where I didn't know you could. It figures you would assume.
Right.
There's
You've always
places
been
to do it,
able
but
to bet at those places, but never really not very popular. You know what I mean? Like, but now sports gambling's legalized in all of America. So you can bet real money. So where is he betting Bitcoin money? And how can I get signed up?
yeah, and his odds were like that payout. Those odds seemed really favorable or I don't know what the odds were, but his payout seems pretty damn excessive for betting on the Chiefs at home against Cincinnati.
Well, unless you consider that of the last 4 times, the Bengals have beat them 3.
True.
So
True.
I don't know. And he could have made the bet, like at halftime when it was still close. Like there's a lot of things that
You're right.
depending on when you made the bet. So, but I thought that was cool because as the California DMV and the New York government and Amazon.com are growing, it also grows the other side of culture, which is the kind of the stuff that's a little less looked upon kindly, like gambling,
Mm-hmm.
like buying stuff you shouldn't, kind of black market stuff. I obviously Drake's not doing it on the black market, but it is interesting to think that you could take your Bitcoin, double it, get it, you know what I mean, just by betting and gambling. There's a
It's
lot
that
of
easy.
places to do that. Yeah.
It's that easy.
When we do our Decentraland episode, I've got a couple clips. I was just wandering through, just playing these free games, and I ended up on a poker site. I didn't connect my wallet, so I wasn't playing for money, but I could see why that would be pretty tempting pretty quick. So
Yeah. Get drawn in. It's because it's that easy to win. It happens just like that.
that's why Vegas has such big, nice buildings, because everybody wins.
Oh, yeah. All day long.
Last thing we're going to talk about, Bitcoin adoption in Guatemala is growing. Now, this is genius. They're trying to, it's happening all over, but this article is specifically about a tattoo shop that's trying to get the word out to its customers that it accepts Bitcoin. And this is one of those industries that it's like, hey, we accept Bitcoin, meaning if you pay with this, we'll charge you less and we don't have to pay our taxes, probably.
Right.
But
Maybe.
yeah, they're giving out free tattoos if you want a Bitcoin themed tattoo to kind of promote the fact that they are accepting Bitcoin at this tattoo shop. So you could probably see some of these
Pretty
great tattoos. I mean, this is
yeah.
stuff that I could see you sporting.
Stay humble, stack
Stack
stats.
Sats,
Oh, I like the miner. That goes along with our theme.
Anti-Fiat Social Club.
Yeah.
You like which one? The miner?
The miner, and I like the stay humble.
Oh, right here.
Yeah. Picks and axes, picks and shovels.
I like the Scrooge McDuck, and I like the Monopoly guy. And Richie Rich.
Oh yeah.
I like the classics. I like the retros. I like when they're bringing the old into the new.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, those are kind of cool. What was it? What was the project that we covered that was given free? Or if you got a tattoo, you got some free tokens. I think if
Free
I remember
land,
right.
I think it was a free section of cheap land. I don't remember what that was. Yeah, I don't remember what episode that was. If I find it, I'll post it up here. But yeah, we did talk about that, about building customer loyalty. But
Yeah,
very interesting. So the world's growing, like I was saying. You've got California government, New York government, e-commerce giant Amazon, celebrities, betting with Bitcoin. You got the entire country of Guatemala trying to encourage spending with Bitcoin. You got things going on right now, man.
yeah. The market is it's been on an upward projection, but we're starting to actually see a lot of that evidence like churning out. Right, you knew the
Right.
adoption and the technology was all headed up, but now we're starting to see these pieces kicking out that it's happening all over the place. If
Yeah,
you're
but
looking for it,
what's weird is I feel like the California government, the New York government, Amazon, and celebrities, and Bitcoin's gone up 2.5% over the last 7 days. It's like, yes, that makes sense that it would go up, but don't you feel like it should be going up more? Like, don't you
Yeah.
feel like there should be more excitement? And I just when we talk about this kind of stuff, and I know people have shared and tweeted that Drake finally won a bet, but it's like, but did people realize he's betting with Bitcoin? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I feel so fortunate that we are now aware of this kind of stuff and we're looking for this kind of stuff. And when you see that California is using the Tezos blockchain, it's like, yo, that's not even rolled out yet. Like they haven't even started on that yet, let alone been using it for a couple of years. And I can still buy Tezos right now on Coinbase for dirt cheap.
Yeah, at 90% or 80% below what it was a year ago or whatever the
Right.
stats are. Like the whole
Right.
market is
And it's just getting used more and more and more. So it's only going to keep going up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's it for the news this week. I like to end off the news by saying that it is February 1st of 2023. The Bitcoin price is 23,440. This time last year, it was still about 35,000, according to our Decentraland episode that we did about a year ago. And Ethereum today is $1,623. Last year, it was between 2,500 and 3,000. So those are the two, the forerunners that everybody's paying attention to. But, February of 2023, we're at $23,000. Who knows where we'll be at this time next year, but it is fun to guess.
Yeah, it is.
I'm guessing $1 million.
We're headed that way one way or the other. Good news, man. Those are some great articles this week.